Okay, something in your life that you want to pursue. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you want to do it, you can do it.
Hi, this is my very first video. I am doing this to chronicle basically what's going on with my dental health. So I want to talk a little bit about my orthodontic history and a little bit about my current stage in my orthodontics process. So I'm really wanting to get my teeth fixed right now, and by fixed I mean to close extra spaces that I have in my bite and also to correct my overbite that I have. Luckily I don't have any crowding or cross teeth or cross bite. I'm not really sure of all the other terminology, but so here it goes. When I was in middle school at some point, I don't remember my exact age, I had braces to correct an overbite that I had. And I was traditional braces, metal, colored rubber bands, and the whole thing. And that actually went really well for me. I think I was in them for maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years, something like that. And my teeth turned out great. I got a traditional retainer, the ones that just the hard plastic, and then that has the silver, I don't know, bar across so you can see the teeth on for the upper and the lower. And I actually did wear my retainers for a long time, but when I turned about 17, I think it was maybe senior year of high school, my wisdom teeth started growing in, all four of them kind of at the same time, and they grew in like a lot of wisdom teeth, not properly. So they, instead of growing in straight like with all my other teeth, they grew in this way. So they began to push on all my other teeth, which was really painful, swelling, everything like that, and I ended up having a major shift in my bite and the way that my teeth lined up. So I stopped wearing my retainers for a while because I thought, as a kid, oh well, it'll be fine. My teeth are done. I've had these for a long time, and I don't have to worry about it. Huge mistake, because I ended up not being able to fit into my retainers after that. So slowly but surely, my teeth started turning back the way that they were before I ever had braces, which means they started having another overbite, which is something I've always been really self-conscious about as a child, basically because of what other people said to me, said about me, friends, not friends, family, not family, pretty much almost everyone that I encountered. So it's just kind of always been a sore spot for me. But at this point, I am ready to kind of get back in the groove of everything. And finally, I'm at a place where I can make that happen. So I'm very excited about that. But this isn't my first time trying to get this fixed. When I was 22 or 23, I think it was 22 years old, I actually went in for a few consultations and tried to see what I could do about getting my teeth fixed. I had a wedding that was coming up, and I wanted to know what can be done about this. So I had a few consultations, and I was basically told, oh, you don't need anything. Oh, your teeth are fine. Oh, yeah, everything looks good. Went to a couple orthodontic places just to kind of see what their numbers looked like, and they were all over $4,000, which was way more than I had or could even fathom planning for at that point in time in my life. And I basically just decided to not do anything at that time. I was offered to get a retainer, and that would basically just retain the current state of my teeth. So basically the position that they were in, to get a retainer to have that done. But I chose not to because I thought at the time, why would I want to retain this? This doesn't make any sense. It's just going to be more money for something, to keep something that I don't want currently. So it sounded like a really horrible idea to me, so I didn't do it. Fast forward in time, about 10 years or so, and I decided to go back down this track again. So I was able to get into a new dentist, I don't know, maybe about 6 or so years ago, which I absolutely love. I think my dentist is great. I think the staff is great. I think the highest of them. So at that dentist office that I started going to, I found out that they did some orthodontic treatment there. And I was really excited because this is the first dentist my entire life that I've actually felt comfortable in the office. I felt that they listened to me. They listened to me about my pain, about my concerns, about my oral health and everything like that. And they actually offered solutions, and I felt really comfortable with them. So I thought, yay, great, a place that I like that also will do all the services I need. So I talked to them about it for probably about 2 years, just kind of not wanting to really find out how much everything was because I was leery. I knew I didn't really have that much money at the time, and it wasn't anything I could do right then, so I kind of didn't want to get my hopes up too high for something that I just couldn't do right then. So I ended up waiting about 2 years or so, and I finally brought it up to them. I'm not super good with time, so my time might be a little bit off, but I waited a couple years, and then I decided to pursue it, and I let them know I had a regular cleaning, checkup, x-rays, the whole thing, and the doctor said, sure, we'll take a look. So I scheduled my Invisalign appointment with them. So it looks like my phone stopped recording. I will continue on from my laptop. So basically the office that I was in, they offered me to do the Invisalign consult, and I went in, did the x-rays, the CT, and impressions where they do the mixture, put them in the trays, and then do indentations of your teeth by pressing it in the upper and lower part of your mouth. So I did that, and I paid money. I think I paid $1,000, over $1,000, something like that, to kind of get the ball rolling. And I was told, okay, in about 2 weeks, we'll have you back in the office, and you'll get them put in, and you're going to get all your trays, and they went through the whole spiel with me, and I was very excited, and I left the office. And then about a week and a half later, I got a call from the office, and I was happy. I thought they were going to tell me, come on in, your trays are here. And I said, oh, great, are the trays in? And they said, no, the doctor just wants to talk to you. I was thinking, what could we have to talk about? We did all the preliminary things and gave you a bunch of my money. But okay, so I went into the office, and the doctor sat down with me along with one of the, I believe it's a hygienist, and basically said, I'm so sorry, but I cannot do your case. You are not a candidate for Invisalign nor any other orthodontic treatments and interventions at this time. I was crushed. Very, very crushed. And the doctor explained to me by showing me my x-rays and my CT that pretty much I had little to no bone and tissue holding my bottom, a bunch of my bottom teeth in place. So I think it's number 22 to 27, I think, are the numbers of teeth. So it's from my bottom canine to my bottom canine. So it's this one, all here, or to here. So these 6 teeth, pretty much they told me if I did anything to them would fall out. So that's getting any sort of braces, any unnecessary pressure, and also time. So eventually, even if I wasn't going to have anything done to my teeth, no anything done at all, just live my life, they would probably fall out anyway in about 10, 15 years. Just all this gone. And as it turns out, in my particular case, it was just something that happened. They said sometimes it could be due to something. More than likely for me, it was just the hand that I was dealt, possibly genetics, but it was pretty much just, what was going on with my mouth, no fault of my own. So that was a very, very hard pill to swallow, not only because I could not get the orthodontics at that time that I wanted, but also because my teeth were basically on a countdown for when they were going to fall out of my head, which was very frustrating. So I was told that I probably would need to have some sort of intervention done to make sure that the health of my teeth and integrity of my mouth stayed the way that it was, or got better. But also that I could get another opinion. Doctor told me, you're more than welcome to go and speak to another office, get a second opinion on orthodontics. But I'm telling you now, if they tell you we'll do it, you need to run, not walk, out of the door and get out of their office, because your teeth will fall out and all they're going to do is steal your money. So I took a little bit to process that. I ended up getting a referral from that office to a periodontal office and went and had a consultation with them, and they took more imaging, more CTs, a little more in depth, and told me basically, yes, that in fact was also their findings, that I needed to do something because my teeth would eventually fall out in the bottom. And if I decided to not have any interventions and just try to find someone to do my orthodontics, that more than likely my teeth would fall out. So I don't know why I laugh when I say that. It's kind of just sounds so bizarre to me. It's almost funny, which is actually a very serious thing. And that procedure was a few $1,000s that I was not anticipating, I wasn't ready for, because it was that fee on top of any monies I would need to spend to get my orthodontics. So a year later, I was able to get my first oral surgical intervention to kind of prep myself, not only to help my dental structure, but also to prep for any orthodontic treatment. So the two options that the periodontist gave me over a year ago was that I could do a tissue graft and I could do a bone graft. So the tissue graft basically is any of your soft tissues. The bone graft is, of course, the hard part, the bone for your teeth, because since your tooth pretty much sits inside of bone that's also covered in tissue, like soft tissue, then you need both to keep it in place. And if your teeth were going to be moving around, there's a good chance that if this wasn't stable enough, they could just tip out, fall out of my head pretty much. So I did the tissue grafting first. And actually this was something I was concerned about at least 10 years ago. I remember asking a few different dentists that I had over the last several years if everything was okay, that I just didn't really have that much gums left on these bottom teeth. My gums just were very, very thin and had kind of started receding, and my teeth just looked a little bit longer on the bottom, which is odd. And also when I would do things like bite into certain foods or bite into like apples and fruits, which I really like to eat a lot of fruit, so biting into an apple, it felt a lot of pain on top of my tooth sensitivity that I've had my whole life. So I asked that, and I was kind of just blown off by most other offices. Oh, it's fine. Oh, some people's teeth are just like that. That's nothing to be concerned about. Maybe if you were older, maybe, we'll keep an eye on it. No one ever clued me in like, hey, check it out. You might need to do something about that. See a specialist. No one said anything, and I thought I was asking all the expert people, and nothing came of it. So anyway, I was noticing that the gum recession, and they were very thin, and so that's the part that the doctors exactly were concerned about. So I ended up getting the tissue from the roof of my mouth on the inside, roof of my mouth, transplanted, so it was taken off and put down here into my gums, all of these. So now they're pretty thick, which is great. I had a really difficult healing process from that procedure. It's typically not that difficult. I just happen to bleed a lot in my mouth anyway, and the procedure itself was fine. It was just my recovery. After recovery of the surgery, I got what's called a stent. It was basically kind of just looked like a hard retainer without anything going across the teeth. So it was just a plastic part that went on the inside of my mouth. I think it didn't fit quite properly because I came home that day and after the surgery, and I was all loopy and everything from the medication and the anesthesia, and just trying to kind of swallow water was very difficult for me. And my tongue, I already have a long tongue, longer than most people, and I already have a tongue thrust. So just trying to swallow, because there's a lot of fluid and everything in my mouth, trying to swallow and trying to just get water down and everything like that. I don't know what exactly happened, but I feel like what happened is I tongue thrusted and that whole stent shifted and kind of came out. I wasn't supposed to remove the stent for 48 to 72 hours. Like, I wasn't supposed to touch it at all, and it came out. And I think what happened is whatever suture or steri strips or whatever they put in there had torn. So it was just blood flowing, and I hadn't eaten because you're not supposed to eat before the surgery, and then I hadn't eaten that whole day, and I think even the whole next day. So there was just a lot going on. I ended up losing a lot of blood and probably over rinsing my mouth with the solution. So I just had a hard recovery from the top part of my mouth, and then the bottom part of the stitches kind of pulled a lot, and I had a lot of bleeding and clotting in my lower gums and between my teeth and everything. And I had like blood flavored everything for 2 weeks. Blood flavored water, blood flavored smoothies, blood flavored ice cream. It was absolutely horrifying. But again, most people do not have that experience. I think I probably had one of the worst case scenarios, but I ended up being fine about 2 weeks later. The biggest thing for me, I think the most difficult for me, was just the swelling, because it was on my entire jaw. I have an overbite, like I've said, but it looked like I had a big underbite because all of this was just like pushed way out, and made it difficult for me to talk. My lips wouldn't even close to make a lot of words, so it was just embarrassing. I don't like having a lot of extra attention drawn to me if I can help it. If I'm in a room full of people, not my jam. So it was just embarrassing going back to work and trying to call people and talk on the phone to people and all of that. So anyway, that was my recovery from that surgery. And then later down the road, I may need to do the bone graft as well to kind of solidify everything in its place. But so I already did my follow-ups with that doctor. That was in January that I had those done. And I was very excited. And then I went back to the doctor for that last follow-up for the periodontist. And I kind of wanted to finalize my treatment plan and make sure I was still on track and everything for the orthodontic intervention, because I had my orthodontic consult scheduled a week after my last surgical follow-up. And the doctor told me about another possibility of a treatment that I may have to undergo. He did reiterate to me that he was not an orthodontist and I would need to check with an actual orthodontist on these suggestions. However, he did suggest that I may benefit from a procedure called Wilckodontics. So I think it's Wilkodontics. Probably spelled that wrong. But pretty much, you can definitely look that up on your own. You can YouTube it, watch a video. I will warn you now, it is graphic. It is horribly graphic. If you have a stomach that turns really easily, don't watch it. If you're prone to nightmares about surgical stuff, don't watch it. I have a medical background and I have a pretty strong stomach. I watch a lot of things, but that video horrified me. It looked like some sort of 17th century torture film noir stuff. So pretty much, basically, they just make incisions between your teeth so that your jaw can move, pieces of your jaw can move more independently. It was terrifying. Luckily, I went to the orthodontic consult and they told me I did not need that procedure, which made me very happy, because after all of these years and all of this time and all of this money that I spent, when I heard that I might need that procedure, I made the decision in my head that I wouldn't go any further. And I would just take everything as it came and try to come to terms with the position in my mouth and where it was, and I was not going to do anything else. But luckily, again, I didn't need it. So I was able to go to this orthodontist office, and they're very nice, very kind, set me up on a great payment plan, which I'm happy about. And I, again, did more imaging, x-rays, CT, and they did some really in-depth imaging, which was amazing. They could look at my my mouth from all different angles, different layers of tissue, all sorts of things, and they made me feel very comfortable, very confident, and I was able to ask a ton of questions, which anyone that knows me knows I can ask a ton of questions about anything, and they answered everything. They were very patient with me, and the office, they were just great all the way around. So they even did some scans. For this office, I didn't need to do impressions. They just took this wand, not quite sure what it was, and kind of just scanned my teeth, and you could see everything pop up, all the 3D imaging on the screen right there to know that they got everything into the system. So I actually, again, paid money, and they told me that in a few weeks they would be here. So being a little gun shy like I was from the last experience where I paid money and kind of had to wait, I was really antsy. Just, wondering if they were going to get done. I called and checked last week, and they said, or 2 weeks ago, and they said, yeah, it looks like it's being processed. And then I have an appointment tomorrow to get everything in. And I called this morning because I hadn't heard, and I was just wondering, did they actually make it there? Is this really happening this time? And they said, yes, they are in. So tomorrow, hopefully less than 24 hours, tomorrow morning, I am going to get my Invisalign in, and my teeth are finally going to get fixed, which just makes me so excited, so happy, so everything, to know that this is finally going to happen all these years and all this money later, but it's what I want. And I'm really excited about it, so I am going to try to keep some updates going. Especially, I want to do a video when I get them in too, because I'm really excited about that. Hopefully, as my teeth shift, I will look okay and not super crazy. But again, I'm really happy about it. So thanks for listening, and I will update you later.